proud of you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 3 of the You Are College Bound Show. I am your host, Serenity. Joined by me today is your co-host, Zoea. Hi, Zoea. Beautiful.
Okay, so just an update, Serenity. The live is like a little behind. Or at
Right.
least for me, like if I logged on. So the introductions are happening now.
Gotcha.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, my face. I love, you
Alrighty.
can see like this part of me. Like only this part here.
We're going to go to the next segment right now.
Let's troubleshoot and just go this way.
All right. So the first segment that we have for you guys is called A Moment of Serenity, and you guessed it, starring me. This is going to be a segment that talks about mental health and specifically mindfulness and what we can do to kind of build our little toolbox. As you know, the theme of our summer is the road back to our dreams. And just with anything that you're constructing, you have to start to build it. The only way that you can do that is by having a handy dandy toolbox. So tune in to my segment to see exactly what I'm talking about. Hello, everybody. Advisor Serenity here, and welcome to A Moment of Serenity. This segment is going to highlight the importance of mental health and mindfulness. For those of you who don't know what mindfulness is, it is a mental state achieved by focusing on one's awareness on the present moment, while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations, used as a therapeutic technique. Mental health is important at all stages of life, especially as a teen. Just think of all the millions of things that you have on your plate right now, whether it be filling out financial aid or applying to college or even thinking about it. It all can get really overwhelming really quickly, which is why it's important to incorporate different mindfulness tricks into your everyday life, which we will talk about later. As you know, this summer's theme is the road back to our dreams. And just like construction in general, you always have to start off at square one, which involves a toolbox. Now, in a regular construction toolbox, it may have a hammer, it may have cement, it may have those different things. However, if for a mental health toolbox, it's going to vary based on your mental health destination. And we'll get to that later on in this season. Now, when you think of your toolbox, think of things that you need, things that work for you, because everyone is different. For example, when I'm feeling stressed out, I like to take a nice long shower, or take a nice long walk, or even put on a face mask. Things like that help me remember that things will be okay, and it really helps me de-stress for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, etc. It's also important to remember that you definitely want to practice self-care and not aftercare. You don't necessarily want it to wait until you're at your wit's end and super stressed out to now do a face mask. But you want to incorporate this into your daily life, and little by little you should see differences in how you react to things in your mental state in general. As we all know, it has been a very long few years, and the world has been turned upside down, and it feels like we're just trying our best to walk on the ceiling. And I know with everything that we see in the news today, it can be pretty hard to stay calm or remember to be mindful even. Well, it's very challenging to remain in a mental state that is healthy and not be stressed. But trust me, if you take it one step at a time, it is definitely doable. Now let's talk about coping mechanisms. So, one thing that you have to do first, how can you help yourself if you don't even know what's going on? And this is where mindfulness comes in. When I wake up in the morning, I make sure to kind of just wiggle my fingers, wiggle my toes, and make sure that I am feeling okay. Or even if I'm not feeling okay, make sure that I feel that. Check your neck. Sometimes we have a lot of stress and tension built up in our shoulders and our neck, and we don't even know it. So being mindful in that moment can really help you pinpoint what you need in that moment. And that's when you reach into your little toolbox, and if you need something like more sleep, or if you need to drink more water because you feel dehydrated, you have to feel those things before you can help it. That's when you reach into your toolbox and you take your tool of maybe, let's say, getting up and stretching to stretch your joints, and then going to the kitchen to get water so that you can hydrate yourself. Knowing these little things will help and make all the difference. Now that I have gone through what this segment is about and talking about the importance of mental health and mindfulness, defining it, and also talking about the things that you can put in your mental health toolbox, we can now start to build that road to our mental destination. Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for what I have in store for you. Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for more tips on mindfulness and self-care. All right, everybody, I hope that you enjoyed that. You see my little brain freeze there. Again, mindfulness. Sometimes you have to take a minute before you continue to speak. So that's a real life example. So I want to see in the chat what are some more things that you guys do to distress. I see some people said listening to music, sleeping. Sleep is really important. I love to sleep. If I could sleep all day, I could, but I work, so I can't. Let's see what else. All right, nothing else in the chat. So we are going to move on to our next segment, which is hosted by the one and only Zoea. And this is going to be a mini movie recommendation segment. And so you'll see what she has thought up for us today, and then we'll have a little discussion following it. All right, so let's cue it up.
Hey hotties, my name is Zoea, and welcome to Why Would I Watch This? A show where I'm gonna bring up movies that you probably have seen, you probably haven't seen, and I'm gonna tell you why you should watch them. The Heights is about a few different characters. It's set in Washington Heights, obviously, and it's about every single person's dream. But we've got Usnavi, we've got Vanessa, we've got Nina, we've got Benny, we've got Sunny, Abuela, the chismosas from the hair store, and every single character has their own dream, something they want out of life. And some people feel like staying in the Heights is just not the way to get it, right? And the reason I put this movie on why you should watch this is because each character has a different relationship with their community. Each character feels the need to either stay or help or come back, and your community really does shape how you experience life outside of it, right? And you can see that through Nina, because she is the one that leaves and goes to Stanford across the country and comes back. Nina comes back into her community, into the Heights, and she feels like she's a completely different person. She feels like she's let people down. She feels like she didn't succeed. She feels like she had so much to hide, and her song also highlights all of these emotions. Sunny is another one that directly is linked to his community and his relationship to his community. He is very galvanized by, current events to protest and to march for people like the Dreamers, to march for DACA, to march for better living circumstances in the Heights. He wants better and more for them. So him wanting to go to college, the dream gets a little bit more difficult. But Nina, having seen this, it kind of gives her more of a purpose, right? Because she gets to use her education to help Sunny. The movie also talks about issues within our community like gentrification and how that causes displacement. Back to a community that's rapidly changing, and you feel like you're also like changing, and everything just feels not at all like it used to be, and feeling like home doesn't feel like home anymore. Sometimes you came to this country because of your parents and you're kind of thugging it out, and you didn't even ask to come here. Through the story of Abuela, your community can and usually is one of your biggest support systems, and it also shows you how your community, even if you leave it, plays such a big part in who you are. and how you handle things. And that's okay.
Alrighty, so we're gonna bring on Zoea, and she's gonna lead a discussion for you guys.
So, yeah, we already heard like conversations about how your community impacts, what you experience, your college experience, what you want to study, stuff like that. So, I'm curious to turn it over to you guys and just ask, if you know what you want to do in your future, because you don't have to, but if you do, has your community impacted that? Like, what role does your community play in what you want to do, maybe where you want to study, right? Whether or not you want to go far, all that stuff. So you can just definitely drop it in the chat if anything comes to mind. Like for me, I want to be a teacher because I feel like my school deserved so much better. The students that went there deserved so much better. And I want to be the teacher that gives that to them, right? Caters to them emotionally because I saw a lack of that. So, yeah, if there's anything that comes to mind, please let us know in the chat. But yeah, we will be answering as y'all respond. Also, if you've seen the movie, what is your favorite song? Because I want to know.
All right, looks like maybe not many people have seen the movie, or maybe you guys are a little shy this morning, but that's okay. But with that being said, Zoya's gonna drop a couple gems on how you can stream it, where you can stream it, so you as well can listen to that fire soundtrack. So back to Zoya.
So we have it's on HBO. But you can also watch it like on YouTube and rent that out there. But the entire soundtrack is on Spotify. So there's also that. And honestly, I feel like the songs, because it's a musical, they tell the story of the characters. So even if you can't watch like the movie, the songs are definitely really good at encapsulating each character's struggles. So you're not really left out on that aspect of the narrative. So there's that.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so our next segment is going to be a fun one. So all my folks out there who are interested in maybe going into the medical field, if you're interested in like biosciences, that kind of thing, this segment is for you, and it is created especially by our very own Shantavia Bailey and Tahara Ghazali. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys watch that, and then we can discuss afterwards in the chat.
Welcome to Tbone. My name is Tavia.
And I'm Tahara. This show is based on ANP, which stands for Anatomy and Physiology. Anatomy is understanding the structure of the body, while physiology is understanding the function of the body. This segment is about
Diabetes! I know you're confused, but let me help you out. Insulin. Insulin is responsible for lowering blood glucose levels in the body. Glycogen is responsible for raising blood glucose levels. This is used for energy. Type 1 diabetes is where your body attacks its own self. This is where insulin cannot be made, and this can lead to high glucose levels because insulin cannot be made to lower it. Type 2 diabetes is when the target cells are not functioning correctly and they cannot uptake insulin. A reason this could be is due to overeating. This causes too much fluctuation and the pancreas tends to shut down, i.e. diabetes. There are 3 cardinal signs.
Polyphagia is intense hunger. Polydipsia is excessive thirst. Polyuria is excessive urination.
And this is it for today's episode.
Stay tuned for the bloopers.
Tamarind candy.
The shoulder.
Welcome to Tbone.
How'd you do something?
Is it recording?
Huh?
He said he came from Jamaica, he owned a couple acres, a couple fake visas cause he never got his papers, gave up on.
Alrighty, so I hope you all enjoyed that segment of Tbone, and as they said, stay tuned for more. Tahara and Shantavia both are so silly. We love them both. So we can engage in a little bit of a discussion in the chat. So Will did ask the question, any future doctors or nurses in the chat? Don't all speak at once. And just a pro tip, a lot of colleges have like general education requirements, which you may or may not already know about. But one of them, for example, at my school, SUNY Brockport, anatomy and physiology was one of the general ed requirements for science that we could have taken. And I wish that I had like a segment like this or like a club like this back when I was in Upward Bound, so I would be a little bit more equipped to take anatomy and physiology, because that thing is a monster. You have to memorize so much, and it could get a little bit hectic. So definitely, if you are looking to go into the medical field, or even if you're not looking to go into the medical field, this is a very important segment to have. And also just something to learn about. You want to know about what bone is hurting and things like that. It's always good to be in the know. So with that being said, our show is nearing an end, but not before we tell you about what's coming up this week, aka tomorrow. So welcome to the College Corner. Yay! So this is going to be just a little brief overview of the college that we will be visiting this week. So we're visiting Nazareth College tomorrow, July 8th, and just a couple things to note. So they have about 60 majors and 70 minors, including an open path program, something that's similar to U of R, where you can kind of make your own major and kind of choose your own classes. They also have a toxicology and artificial intelligence program, which is pretty cool. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, then definitely check Nazareth out. It has about 2,100 undergraduate students. So it's a smaller size school. It's on 150 acres of land. So if you like to see all of the squirrels running around, because Brockport had tons of squirrels, and I figure Nazareth probably would have maybe even more. It's always good to see some greenery, and again, good for mental health. We love a green space for a college. They're very big on like international and study abroad opportunities. So they have an option to live with international students on campus, which really will increase your cultural awareness and just making new friends in general. Also, they have Fulbright awards to other countries. So again, we all know that studying abroad can get expensive, things like that. But with Nazareth, they definitely seem to help aid in that. So if you want to go to other countries and kind of just explore the world while you're in college, definitely look into that. And when you're on the tour, make sure that you ask questions about this if you are interested. Lastly, for my sports people out there, they are Division 3. So if you like a little bit of everything, we can do greenery where you can go and hang out with your friends, have fun, smell the fresh air. You can live with an international student and kind of get to know the world a little bit better. And you can play your sports. So it's kind of like, what's the saying? You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. In this case, 3 birds with 1 stone. But anywho, stay tuned tomorrow when you all go on the trip. So excited for you all. And this is just the tip of the iceberg for our summer program. This is going to be our first trip, and there's many more to come. All right, all. Thank you so much for tuning in to the College Bound Show, and I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. We worked very hard on it, myself, everybody who contributed. And also, I want Zoya to Give herself a round of applause as well. She was an amazing co-host today, and we cannot wait to see you all next week for the College Bound Show. Woo! And remember, you get points for tuning into the College Bound Show and participating and chatting with us because we worked so hard on this. We want you all to take so much from it. Alrighty, and also one last thing, we're looking for student content creators too. So if you ever want to be featured on the You Are College Bound Show, you already know where to find us. And we look forward to seeing what we all come up with.
Yay!
Awesome.